Let's get Ofer Bronchtein. He's in Tel Aviv. He's a political scientist in charge of the Israeli-Palestinian rapprochement. Welcome, Ofer Bronchtein. First, can we get your reactions to that first phase in the ceasefire deal?
It's very moving. It's very moving. It's very difficult for me to imagine what these families went through in the last close to 500 days. You know what it is to have your child, your father, your husband, not knowing where he is, not having any news, knowing that he's under the ground somewhere, not knowing if he's died, if he is dead or if he's alive. They went through really, really horrible 1 year and a half. And I'm very glad that finally 3 families are going to be able to reunify today. 3 young girls will be able to go back home today. And the whole country, as you saw the picture from the square of the hostages, what we call in Tel Aviv, the whole country is with them, is supporting with them, was every day in the street to ask for the release of the hostages. Now it's only 3, and I think that this deal is not a good deal. I don't understand why it was done this way. Every week it will be only 3, and for the Palestinian side, every week it will be few dozen or hundreds of prisoners, and the ceasefire will be holding on the head of the Palestinian if it will be the end of the war or if it won't be the end of the war. And this is absolutely horrifying. They have to make a deal, and I hope that the new Trump administration, as well as the international community and the Arab countries that were very involved, and we have to salute them, Qatar, Turkey, Egypt, France as well. I want to remind you that some of the negotiations took place in France. One day you will know exactly the details. But they have to put pressure on Israel now and on the people who have pressure on the Hamas for a permanent deal. The release of all the hostages, alive or dead, we don't know. The release of the prisoners that Israel committed to release, which is around 17 or 1800, and the end of the war, not a ceasefire, but the end of the war. And then to move forward, you know, in this situation, both society lost. Nobody won this war. They all lost this war. So many damages, so many victims. For what? And I want to remind you, the Hamas is not representing the Palestinian people. The Hamas is the enemy of the Palestinian people. The Hamas is carrying a green flag, not the Palestinian flag. The Hamas doesn't recognize the state of Israel. The Hamas doesn't recognize any agreement that were made with Israel by the Palestinian Authority, by Yasser Arafat, by President Mahmoud Abbas. Mahmoud Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority himself, last week, said that all of that is due to the Hamas. The Hamas is the main responsible of this catastrophe that both people are living. So the Hamas should not be a partner, should be out of the equation. The Palestinian Authority should be a partner, maybe a new one. As you said before, the Israeli politics are going through turmoil. The coalition of Mr. Netanyahu is a very fragile one. I believe that like that he won't be able to stay in power for too long. Mainly, and let's not forget that he's in the middle of a judgment, of a trial, which is making it more complicated for him. Then I believe in the next few months, or maybe 1 year, it will be new election in Israel and a new government will rise. And I believe that it will be the same thing from the Palestinian Authority. It will be the time for the international community, for France, for the American, once and for all, to put all their weight on the Israeli and on the Palestinian to get to a permanent agreement of peace between the two people. The Palestinian state and the Palestinians deserve to get back their dignity, their freedom, to go to have progress, to have a better life, and the Israeli deserve to be recognized by the Arab and the Muslim world, and not to be scared, and not to feel that their life itself, their existence itself, it's at stake. It's possible. Both society want it. We hope that we'll have courageous people to go for it, and I really think that it's a time for the international community to put their foot on the door and to say, enough, it's enough. It was expected. People who were surprised of the 7th of October, it's people that did not want to see that it's going to happen one day or another. If without peace, we will always have terror. Without peace, we will always have a victim. Only peace can guarantee the security of Israel and the well-being of the Palestinians. So now it's time. It's not going to be easy. It's so many scars now in the Israeli society and in the Palestinian society. Both society want peace, but at the same time they want revenge. They are very confused. We have to let them some time to heal and to move forward. We need courageous leaders, determined leaders in Israel, in Palestine, and I know them. They exist. They are there, waiting to take power and to take their people to a better place. And we need the international community to say, enough, it's enough. It's time for you to end this war. You know, it's the Israeli and the Palestinian are not going to disappear. The Israeli will stay wherever they are, and the Palestinian will be forever they are, and nothing will change it. Only more and more and more victim and more sorrow for both people. So what we have to do is to find the right way for both people, which is 15 million altogether. 15 million, it's not much, to live in good neighborhood relationship, and then later on to live in to live in peace. Well,
Ofer, let me bring in my colleague Lila Jacinto. She has a question for you.
Yes, Mr. Bronchtein, thank you for being with us. Actually, what struck me when you were talking about determined Palestinian leadership, this morning, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Shar, put the Palestinian Authority in the same boat, so to speak, as Hamas when he said the Palestinians, that the PA, the Palestinian Authority of Mahmoud Abbas, supports terrorism. The Palestinian leadership. What role can you envisage for the Palestinian Authority, and what's with the future Palestinian leadership if we have to move to this phase where we can talk about a lasting peace?
Lila, the Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas, is a personal friend of mine. He's someone that I have great respect for. And it's someone who, from the day one, that he was in power, even as Prime Minister of Yasser Arafat, number 2 of the PLO, said that he condemned terrorism, he condemned violence. He knew that by violence the Palestinian people won't get what they need and what they deserve to get. He always condemned it. He was a partner of peace with all the Israeli prime minister. He signed peace agreement with all the Israeli prime minister. Let me remind you that Mr. Netanyahu himself signed agreement with Yasser Arafat. Mr. Netanyahu himself signed agreement with Mahmoud Abbas and Abu Mazen. Let me remind you that in the West Bank, the weak Palestinian Authority, and it's weak because the Israeli government, the right-wing government, made sure that it will stay weak, made sure that it will be the Palestinian people will be divided. A month before the 7th of October, the Israeli Minister of Finance and Mr. Netanyahu himself said we need the Hamas for us not to never see a Palestinian state. So it was in their interest to see the Hamas in Gaza and the PLO and the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank. Now it's over. They need to have only one partner, only one Palestinian Authority. Mahmoud Abbas is an old man, a great man. He will have his place in history, but he's 89. It's time for a young generation of Palestinians to lead their people, and I know them. They are leaders that want peace. They are young, capable, fantastic people who want peace. They understand by the bullet and by the arms and by terrorism, they won't get anything. In the opposite, they'll get destruction. They'll get more victims. That they know. But the Hamas don't care about that. He knew that the Israeli will react to the 8th of October, 7th of October, the way they reacted. He knew that the Palestinian people will pay the prices, but he didn't care. He was hoping that the world will be against Israel, which happened, because I think that the Israeli overdid. We could have dealt with that in a different way, but that's another issue. The positive things that I can say is that because of the 7th of October, we are witnessing a huge change in the Middle East. So Hezbollah was eradicated. Finally, after years of expectation, Lebanon have a president, they have a prime minister, and the president and the prime minister declared very clearly it will be only one army in Lebanon. So the Lebanese are taking back their own country. Syria went to a revolution. The monster of Assad disappeared, and Iran is very wicked. It's not the same Iran than we knew a few months ago. So maybe it's an opportunity now for the whole region to change, for Israel to make peace with the Lebanese, because it's no issue with Lebanon. And it's for the Israeli to make peace with the Palestinians, because we know the solution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is the two-state solution. It's time for the international community, and me personally pushing President Macron. I gave him a very, very important report a few days ago, and I'm pushing him publicly to recognize the Palestinian state. I push the international community to recognize the Palestinian state, and for the Arab and Muslim country to recognize Israel. Only by peace Israel will secure its life. Only peace will bring security to Israel. And we saw Israel having good relationship with some Arab country was good for all sides. Economically, we have to put our energy, our means, our wealth into the well-being of the people. We cannot put it only in hurting one each other and in buying more and more weapons.
Well, obviously we'll keep watching this story, which is still unfolding. Thank you very much, Ofer Bronchtein. You're a political scientist from Tel Aviv.